From the time we were married, we had both been attending church for some time, and we had both made commitments and accepted Christ in our high school lives. But together as a couple, we've been growing over this last 7 years. We went through a financial ministry class with Andy Pike, and I think it was through that class that he taught us about stewarding our money well, and one of the topics that came up was tithing. Rachel may share, but she's always been very faithful with her tithing. But admittedly, tithing was never a big part of my worship and my faith. I, in retrospect, was probably more tipping God rather than making an intentional, faithful act of giving. It was through that ministry that I would say for myself, I was very convicted that this was an area of my faith that I needed to grow and stretch. And I would say that was the first time we made the decision as a couple to start tithing regularly.
For us, we had a goal of wanting to purchase a home. It was just something that felt so far off. You know, how we're living day to day, and how do we save enough for a down payment?
I would get very caught up in the day-to-day stress and anxieties of finances, our relationship. We've actually had 3 miscarriages, and admittedly, a lot of sadness, a lot of frustration, a lot of prayers of why God, why this, why are we having so much trouble having a child? We kept praying, and we incorporated, tithing as part of our worship and our relationship with God.
So when it becomes to, are we going to be faithful in tithe? Are we going to recognize that it all comes from God? Is that leap of faith that we're going to give God the first 10% and trust that all of these things are going to be provided for and everything's going to be okay. And so for us, we're coming to find that yes, God does provide, and He is more than able.
There were definitely moments when certain bills or expenses came in that it was a stretch of, okay, do we still write that check? Do we still make that payment? But I can say that, God always gave us that peace that, this is the right thing to do, and this is what I would like you to be doing in this season of your life.
It seems as if God always asks something, and then you act in faith, but then there's a little bit more. He takes you a little bit further after that. And for us, that little bit further kind of came as a part of the building campaign. So even with the tithing, for me, it was a stretch. And then when the whole building campaign came up, would we be willing to give more above and beyond the tithe, towards a building campaign? And we had prayed about it, and we had given. And so that was a little bit of a stretch too. Every time we did that, it was always a little bit scary, because you do that, and then sometimes unexpected bills occur, or something costed a little bit more than you expected. But then we had pledged to give. And so you remain faithful to give that amount that you pledged. It is nice to go from being stressed about those things and having this journey and realizing that God is going to take care of us and having that peace.
It's already been amazing to see the fruits of our gift. This past year has been so amazing that there's been so many things happening in our lives. We were able to have the fund to purchase of our first home.
The baby that we've been praying for came this year.
We were just floored and felt so blessed and so happy. And I feel like looking back at this journey that we've been through as a couple, I think it was really a faith journey, and God saying that if you can trust me with this piece of your life, your faith, then maybe I can trust you with a little bit more.